Hi guys, I'm Granojete and welcome to my Venti's definitive guide. I won't go in depth into builds and stats because it's boring all that math, but I will show you everything you need to know about Venti so you can master him. This is a summary that I have prepared about possible builds. For artifacts, you will need the Viridiscent Venerer set, with attack percentage Sands, anemo damage Goblet, and crit rate or crit damage hat. 150% is enough energy recharge. To deal great amounts of damage, his best in slot is Skyward Harp, but you have a lot of different options like Stringless or Viridiscent Hunt. Also, the new Windbloom Warbow is really good on him. If you use LG for the end, you will lose DPS on Venti, but you will gain DPS with the other characters. As I said, LG for the end is his best in slot when he is supporting. The other options will let you spam his elemental burst and uplift tons of CC. Now let's talk about his elemental skill. Holding the elemental skill will deal more damage and keep enemies flying a bit longer, but it will put the skill on a longer cooldown too. I would recommend to use the hold skill when finishing off enemies. You can also use it to support hard hitters like Dialog. One of the things you need to know to master Venti is to know your enemy. You can trick green hunters flying with Venti, so they open their eye, allowing you to stun him. Just do this every time he's up. You can trick Minotaurs with shields too. They will try to throw slimes at you flying, and they won't cover any incoming damage. And of course you can help Jim play some baseball with the heal charts. You can use the elemental skill to dodge a lot of bosses' attacks. I thought we were friends, Andrews. I don't want to hit you. Seems that child is so bad with the bow that he can't aim you mid-air. You can also dodge his destroyer jump attack with this trick. Not so cocky now, huh, child? You can also dodge this fucking shit. You can cancel your elemental skill animation by throwing your ult. You can do this sprinting too. This will allow you to dodge at the same time. And of course you can do it jumping as well. Now let's get into the elemental burst. If you don't infuse the Storm Eye with an element, you won't deal any Swirl damage. Swirl's damage is based on character level and elemental mastery. Each enemy trapped inside Venti's ult will deal Swirl damage to the surrounding enemies. So the more enemies trapped inside, the more damage you will deal. Now let's get into aiming your elemental burst. If you get too close to big targets, you will fail your elemental burst. If you fail, you won't be able to infuse the tornado, but it will still suck up enemies. Let's try again by staying some steps back. The more you use Venti, the more you will get used to this distance. If the enemy is too mobile, it might be harder to aim. Try to let them waste their dashes. Try to aim to the center target. Your rod will always focus the closer target, so position yourself. After this, get close to the tornado so they won't move from there. For smaller targets, try to aim somewhere where it will suck up all the enemies. For example, in this hellish savage chamber, the best thing you can do is aim at the center of the monolith. Remember that you will always target the closer enemy to you, so keep this in mind. Jin and Venti is a really good combo. You can pull big enemies to Venti's tornado with a Jin's charge attack. Yay! The true Archon's powers! If you infuse the tornado, you can get Fatui's agent out from stealth. Now let's talk about some weapon tricks and passives. The Viridiscent hand is a really underrated bow for Venti. Also, the crit rate is really good on him. You can use the Cyclone from the passive to CC the enemy more after Venti's ult, and wait for your ult meanwhile. Be careful, if you trigger the passive too early, you will stop the CC from Venti's ult. If you trigger the passive early, you can deal fall damage sometimes. Skyward Harp's passive will only activate if Venti is on the field. The Favonius Warbow works the same as the Skyward Harp. You will get extra energy, but only if Venti is on the field. These white particles is the extra energy from the passive. To master Venti, you will have to debuff the enemy properly. First, apply the elemental's red and use Venti's skill. Then you can put more elements on the enemy to trigger more reactions. And trigger melt in this clip. And now fucking stomp that enemy. Lastly, we are talking about some characters that can deal damage while in Venti's ult. Of course, every branch character can deal damage inside Venti's ult. Now I'll talk about some melee characters. These are the ones that can hit consistently. Diluc and Chinkyu. Jin. Beidou can also hit the enemies with almost all her normal attacks. Razor should be able to hit the enemies as well. Albedo and Geo main character can help other characters to reach the enemies. With Albedo, it's a bit harder to hit the enemies because the elevator gets you too high, so you might need claymore users. Albedo makes a great combo with Venti. His skill deals AoE damage, so if the enemies are grouped up, you will stomp them. Also try to save your ults for when enemies come down, so you will have a surprise for them. And that's all from my Venti's guide. I hope you like it, and you help me a lot if you hit that subscribe or like button. See you in Teyvat!
神々がまだ属性にいた時代、はるか昔の物語である。